Hey guys, Oogie Boogie here. Today I want to talk about the physical build for Demon Hunters. This is my Grade 48 run with this build. This build is based around Cluster Era with physical rune. What makes this build so good is the 3 rockets you release when you shoot it. Every rocket deals 600% weapon damage as physical and can be doubled by the ballistic passive to 1200% weapon damage each rocket. The rockets spread to targets that are nearby, making it an awesome choice for solo run. This build is quite similar to the Cole build, but what makes it better than Cole is the damage you do versus 3 or less mobs. Cole is better versus 3 or more mobs, because it shoots 5 rockets instead of 3. Build uses legendary gem Taiguk. Keep up this rune, you will use Preparation, Companion, and Health Clubs. Whenever I get low on hatred and my stacks are about to fall off, I just place a sentry to keep it up, since it has a low hatred cost. There will be times that the gem will fall off, but no worries. Just try to keep it up most of the rifts. You can also use Bane the Powerful if you think you can handle keeping up the Tiger gem. This is enough footage for now. If you want to see more from this run, you can check it out in the link below the stream. Moving on to the gear and skills. As a generator, we are using Evasive Fire with the Focus Rune. This makes it that every generating shot you do generates 7 hatred instead of 4. We're using Cluster Arrow as a spender with the Shooting Stars, the physical rune, Cluster Arrow. We're using Vault with Tumble. After using Vault, your next Vault will, within 6 seconds, has the discipline cost reduced by 50%. Will make you able to vault more often. We're using Sentry with Polarization. Sentry with Polarization is really good to apply a slow to the mobs around the sentry. Makes it easier to guide the mobs. We're using Preparation with Punishment. 20-second cooldown, give you 75 hatred back. This is a great tool for bursting down packs and keeping up the Taikuk gem. Using Companion, doesn't really matter what rune you have here, because you get all the passes from the Marauder set from all your pets. Companion can be used to get our health globes and give a damage buff to yourself for 30% damage. It's also a great tool to keep up your Taikuk gem when you're low on hatred. For the passes, we're using Awareness, Ballistics for our rocket damage from the Cluster Arrow, increases your damage by 100%. Using Custom Engineering, Steady Aim, and if you're using a Hellfire Amulet, also use Follow the Weak. Now we move on to the gear. There are 2 viable options for this build. You can run with Pridefall or Hexing Pants. I personally prefer Pridefall. If you decide to go with Hexing Pants, you need to start a step all the time to keep up the buff, like this. I don't really like this kind of playstyle, since when you're doing greater risks, neglects your own gameplay, because you're focusing on auto stepping all the time to keep up the buff. I don't really like it. As for a weapon, want to have any 200 crossbow, want to have resource cost reduction on it, and high damage. You can have any crossbow here, but Baritza would be best in slot, since you have a secondary chance to freeze on hit. Really nice to have in solo rifts. You want to have Marauder boots, Dex Fit, Aures, and Cluster Arrow damage. You want to have Marauder pants, Dex Fit, and Aures. Marauder gloves, Dex Fit, crit hit damage and crit chance. Marauder shoulders with Dex Fit, resource cost reduction, and sentry damage. And Marauder chest, Dex Fit, and sentry damage. As a belt, we want to have a Witching Hour with Dex Fit, attack speed, crit hit damage. Pridefall as a helmet Dex with crit chance and cluster arrow damage. You can have a socket in this helmet, but I prefer the Asian version of the helmet since you gain a lot of width. That width is more valuable than 23% life gem in your head. You want to have an Hellfire necklace with valuable stats like Dex, crit chance, and crit damage, and a usable passive. You cannot like the best you can have here is elemental damage, crit chance, and crit hit damage. You can also use Eye of Edlich. These stats, a valuable option. Want to have Reaper Wraps as our wrist as high as primary resource restore as you can. As for our rings, we got two options. You can go with a Unity and a Ring of Void Grandeur. You can also take Stone of Jordan instead of, but I wouldn't say that is a good option on hardcore. More of softcore option. Since it's very glass cannon. Get a Bombardier Rucksack as our offhand. A Dex crit, Hatred regen, cost reduction. And of course cluster arrow. You can choose between Hatred regen and resource cost reduction, but I prefer Hatred regen because it helps a lot with keeping up the Taeguk gem. So we discussed the skills and gear now. We can end this guide. If you want to see some more footage of this build and get an idea how to play it, take a look at my grade 48 clear that is linked down below. Follow my stream and subscribe to my YouTube for future content. See you later.